In this video, I'm going to talk about the area and array model for multiplication, as well as lattice multiplication. So with the area array model, the first step is to write each term in its expanded form. We then draw a rectangle and we divide it for each place value. So we make sure we have a column for each place value in the first number and a row for each place value in the second number. We can then write the expanded value next to its place on the rectangle. We then find all of our partial products. And finally, we add the products. So let's look at some examples of this. Let's start with 3,645 times 7. So I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle and breaking it up. So our first number has 4 place values, so I'm going to break this rectangle up into fourths. 1 for each place value. And then we write those place values next to the rectangle. So this is a 3,000, a 600, a 40, and a 5. The second number just has a single value of 7. We then multiply 7 times 3,000, that's 21,000. 7 times 600, that's 4,200. 7 times 40, that's 280. And 7 times 5 is 35. And then we add up those numbers, 21,000 plus 4,200 plus 280 plus 35. That gives us 25,515. So that would be our solution. Let's do another one. 83 times 25. This time I have 2 place values in each of my numbers. So I need a 2 by 2 square that I'm going to break up. My first number is 83, so I'm going to write an 80 and a 3. The second number, 25, so I'll write the 20 and the 5. And then we multiply. 20 times 80 is 1,600. 20 times 3 is 60. 5 times 80 is 400. 5 times 3 is 15. And then we add up these numbers. 1,600 plus 400 plus 60 plus 15 is 2,075. So I have my solution. Next, let's look at lattice multiplication. I'm going to start by drawing a grid corresponding to place values. So it needs the same number of columns as the number of place values in the first term, the same number of rows as the place values in the second term. Essentially the same box that I did for my area and array model. We're then going to split each one of our cells with a diagonal line. We're then going to write the numbers along the top and the right-hand side. So we do 1 digit per column across the top for one number, 1 digit per row down the right for the second number. We then multiply appropriately. We multiply corresponding rows and columns, just like for the area and array model. And then we add down the diagonals. So let's do some examples. Let's do 213 by 58. We start by drawing our grid. So I did 2 columns in 3 rows since 213 has 3 digits and 58 has 2. We then need to split these with diagonals. Here's what this looks like. We then write our digits. This is 58 and 213. In the area and array model, we need to consider exactly what place values these in. We would need to write 50 and 8, but here we just need to write the digits. And then we multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 2 is 16. 5 times 1 is 5. 8 times 1 is 8. 5 times 3 is 15. 8 times 3 is 24. And then we add the diagonals starting with the ones place, starting with the bottom. So this is 4. 8 plus 2 plus 5 is 15, so I write down the 5 and carry the 1 to the next diagonal. 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 5 is 12, plus 1 is 13, so we write down the 3 and carry the 1 to the next diagonal. 1 plus 1 is 2, and then 1. So my solution, 12,354. Let's do another one, 498 times 61. I went ahead and drew my grid with the diagonals. We have 61 and 498. We then multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 times 9 is 54. 1 times 9 is 9. 6 times 8 is 48. And 1 times 8 is 8. And then we add starting at the bottom. This is 8. 8 plus 9 is 17, so I write down the 7 and carry the 1. This is 5, plus 4 is 9, plus 4 is 13, so we write down the 3 and carry the 1. This would be 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 4 is 5, plus 5 is 10. Write down the 0, carry the 1, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 30,378.